It's Jason. It's Sunday morning. Listen, I just wanted to send out a message for everyone, for a little Sunday message. I've actually figured out how to stream on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time. So I'm trying to send this out to as many people as I can. I hope everyone's hanging in there. I hope everyone is calm and copacetic, and that you're looking after yourself. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you this has been a tremendously insane year. We all feel it. I'm going through the same thing. This is, it is what it is. But listen, I just wanted to tell you something real simple today. Simple but hard, right? Which is, how do we, you look out the window, you look online, you look in the news, you look in your own heart, and what do you see? Turmoil, chaos, violence, a sense of no hope, a sense that things could just keep getting worse, and they might, right? And I don't have any easy answer for that. I'm not here to say like, oh, well, if you just think positive, if you just have the right approach, if you just do this and that, then you'll be fine. Because we don't know that, and but I get it, right? People are suffering right now, a lot. People are losing their businesses. There's violence in the street. We've got hundreds of years of trauma and rage and pain, particularly that the African American community has felt emerging, right, and being heard. We've got cities on fire. We've got a lot of fear, a lot of pain, a lot of uncertainty, and no clear answers. We've got a lot of paranoia, a lot of, oh, who's doing this? Is Bill Gates gonna inject all of us with Windows 95? And so everyone's looking for someone to blame. And we don't know the full story. We don't know what's going on. But I've been thinking a lot about how to respond to that. And there's one thing I know, okay? People are talking about, how do we get out of this? Is there a way out? Is there going to be a way out of not just coronavirus, but the response to it? Is there going to be a way out of the racial tension that we're seeing? Is there going to be a way out of the authoritarian measures we're seeing? Yes, there is. There is one way out. In fact, it's the only way out. And it's probably not what you think. But in your heart, you know that it is the correct way, and that's forgiveness. And what I mean by that is, the way out is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Where does hate start? Got a lot of hate in the world right now. You got a lot of hate in the world. For some people, this is new. For other people, for instance, Black people in America, it's nothing new. It's a lifetime. Right? So we got a lot of hate. Where does hate come from? Right now we got people talking about, blaming this group or the other group, or pointing fingers. And is there structural hate? Yes. Right. Are these things real? Yes. But the question that I'm asking is, where does it start? Because we can talk all day long about reforming systems. We can talk all day long about, and there are things we should do. But we can talk all day long about looking outside and looking at the symptoms. And I think more importantly, we need to ask, where does hate come from? Where does it start? What is the cause? It starts from hating yourself. Why do people hate themselves? Right? Usually it's because someone else has passed it on to them. They've been taught that, right? Fundamentally, it's because they've been hurt. By the way, I'm not talking to you up from like a podium here where I'm saying like, oh, let me tell you just what to do. Like, no, this is hard stuff. This is stuff we all have to look at together. I think. I know all about it, right? Fear, anger, hatred, but it comes from the sensation of being hurt. Somebody hurts you, somebody passes on. It doesn't have to be physical violence. It can be judgment. It can be a way that a time when they see you as not a human being, and they act towards you or even just respond to you as if you don't matter and that you're less than. Okay. People take that on, even if they don't realize it or even if they don't respond, they take it on. Yes, particularly in childhood, but through their whole lives, right? Like we tell ourselves this story of like, oh, when people are hurt as children, then they have to do therapy and work it out for the rest of their lives. You think you're particularly vulnerable as a child? Yes. But do you think that you become less vulnerable as you're an adult deep down? Not really. The only difference is that you have, hopefully, mental, physical, emotional skills to handle it. But most of us don't, right? There's, so-called adults don't have a lot of skills to handle things. So sometimes when people hurt us, we bury it, or we take on the role of our own victimizer. Oh, really? You're gonna say that to me? You're gonna hurt me? Let me show you how it's done. Next thing you know, you've been having a 10-year internal conversation as if that moment is still happening. What happens with all that? What happens with all of that negativity, with all of that hate, right? Because it builds up. And eventually it overflows, right? Because you can't live like that. So what do people do? They project it outwards onto other things. They find people, groups, ideas to project it out onwards so they don't have the bad feeling anymore. Such is the history of humanity. In fact, you want to talk about ritual? That's the oldest ritual in humanity, the scapegoat ritual. Every culture in the world does it in one way or the other. They pick a symbol to represent all of their internal negativity. In old tribes, it would be an animal or sometimes a post or a stone. In our social mediated world, well, it changes every few days, right? But it's the same thing. We don't throw people into volcanoes, right? But we burn them down online. But as we should have figured out by now, because we've all lived through, at least 10 years of this now, the hatred never ends. If that worked, don't you think that we've destroyed enough people? Don't you think that and it's only gotten worse. The hatred only spreads, right? So it doesn't work. We take on this is one of the great tragedies of pain, suffering, trauma, and abuse, is that we take on the role of our own abuser, right? And we continue it, and we continue to hurt ourselves, and then we do it to other people. And such is the history of humanity. So, where do we go from there? Forgiveness. And it has to start with forgiving ourselves. In the heart of every human being, and in the life of every human being, there's an equation. Right? Pain and love. From pain come hate, fear, suffering, and the need to spread pain to other people so that they understand you, they understand what you're feeling. Here, feel this. This is what I'm feeling. Or to the idea that you can get rid of it by doing that, you can't, right? You only increase it. On the other side of that is love. What is love? Love is strength, right? Love is, you love yourself. Are you perfect? No. Am I? Fuck no. Forget it, right? We're human, right? And don't, get it straight, right? What are human beings? Human beings are apex predators. We're not saints. We're apex predators. We're the most dangerous form of life on this planet, right? And underneath each and every one of us, there is a pyramid of blood that contains, for instance, people in the first world, that all the people in the developing world who have suffered, chained at sewing machines to make you your clothes, your computers, all of it. Animals, the bones of genocided people. We're apex predators. So now, in addition to that, we also have a little bit of divinity in us, but it doesn't come naturally. It needs to be encouraged, and it's easy for it to slip away if you lose sight of it. So we are apex predators with the capacity for consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness is the ability to see things outside your own self. To see things through other people's perspective, and from that develops empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion do not come from putting on a white robe and saying, "Oh, look at me, I'm so much higher than everyone else." That's horseshit. That's spiritual bypassing. People get into spirituality and they think that it's all about acting like an angel. You're not an angel. Angels are angels, right? You're a human being. Spirituality means looking at the pain, looking at the hate, looking at the anger, understanding that it is without end, and yes, you do have a big part in its creation. But being strong enough, and don't think this is easy, right? Takes so much more strength. Being strong enough to, by act of will alone, forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. By the way, does that mean let people hurt you? Fuck no. Does that mean that other people don't hurt other people? Does that mean that there aren't structures of oppression and racism and and destruction in our world, there aren't organized systems of the destruction of other beings? No, right? But why do you forgive? You forgive for yourself, right? Ask people who went through the Holocaust, and a lot of them did say this, right? They had to come to a place of forgiveness. People who went through the camps. So I'm repeating to you what their experience that they've shared with, and you can look this up easily online or in books. Many of them said they came to forgive, even if it took a long time. Why did they forgive? Was it for the Nazis? Was it for their sake? No, it was for their own. Because when you don't forgive, you live a life filled with pain and hatred and suffering, and you're continuing to hurt yourself. Do people hurt us? Yes. Do we have a say in whether we continue to internally wound ourselves over and over and over again? Yeah, we do. Sometimes, particularly now, you'll see online, it's like people will say like, oh, just get over it, right? Black Lives Matter, right? Oh, slavery ended in 1860. Just get over it. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, right? These things don't go away. And more than that, when people do things to hurt other people, as I've said, it doesn't just stop there. It gets replayed over and over. Ask people with PTSD. The moment they're stuck in that moment, you can be stuck in a moment of trauma for your whole life. It's just replaying over and over again. And the wounding happens again and again and again. A lot of times people who go through that think that they're the only person that's happening to, right? There's something wrong with them. That's the stuff that history is made of. Literally, what do you think human history is woven from? All of that. And you can talk about the names and the dates and all that. It really doesn't matter, right? So we forgive for ourselves. And we need to begin with forgiving ourselves. Because when you forgive yourself, then you have the love and the strength to forgive others. Is this, and let me put it this way. Is this a nicety? Is it, oh, that sounds nice, Jason. Oh yeah, I should forgive myself, and then I should read some Deepak Chopra books and go on a retreat and, get my head right and be a good person, a spiritual person, and then everything will make sense and I'll have clarity. You know why you should forgive yourself? Because we're on the brink of a civil war. Give it a month. Give it 2 months. We got people killing each other in the streets. We have an election. It's not about politics. Well, it is about politics, but I'm not going to tell you what to believe politically, because there's hate everywhere right now. And there's killing, and it's increasing. Once that kicks off completely, by the way, I'm not playing false equivalencies with sides and all that. We need to analyze everything clearly and look at the truth instead of getting wrapped up in the media craziness where you're constantly being told every day what to be afraid of. And it's always exaggerated. And when it's exaggerated like that, we can't see it clearly and we can't do something about it. And the only thing we can do is shut down because we don't know what to do and we're scared. And when people are scared, they get really dumb. and they do things that hurt other people and themselves. So we have to stop and look at ourselves, because what do you think a civil war is like? Right? I don't know, and I don't want to know. But if you want to know, you can look up Eastern Europe in the early 1990s. Or if you want another model, you can look at the Troubles in Ireland, right? That went on for decades. Or you can look at the American Civil War. In the American Civil War, people from the same family were on different battle lines. Brothers were killing each other. You think that's going to solve anything? Look, the Civil War ended in 1865. Here it is. It's 2020, and we're still fighting the same fight, right? And for those of you who are watching this who are not American, it's in a way, the eyes of the whole world are on America right now. So that doesn't mean this message isn't for you, because it is, because this is a universal message. But I'm American, and I know America, and I'm in the middle of it. So that's what I'm talking about right now. And I know the eyes of the world are on America right now. And, is who we elect going to fix this once and for all? No. In fact, I suspect that no matter who wins the election, it will get worse. And the polarization and the battle lines will continue, right? In different ways. But the country is us. It's not the leadership. It's us. And we all need to look at our own hearts. You think you can help anyone with a heart full of hatred? And by the way, do you think that protects you? It's so easy. It's so easy to shut down, build a shell around yourself of hate and anger and survival instinct. I'm going to survive no matter what. Fuck everybody. Sure, you can survive like that, but in what, in what form, right? What survives? And again, I'm not saying don't protect yourself, don't defend yourself, because you obviously have to do that. And you also need to keep an open heart, because that makes you even stronger, right? And it takes a lot more strength. It takes a lot more strength to forgive than it does to build walls. And again, I'm doing my best. Sometimes these things sound like Hallmark card slogans, but I'm doing my best here. And I'm telling you, like, I'm primarily talking to myself right now, right? And if that helps other people, then good, right? But ultimately, we're all only left with ourselves at the end of the day. As I like to tell people, it's, like who you really are. You want to know who you really are? People want to go to an ashram and do ayahuasca to find myself. You know who you really are? Who you really are is when you're laying awake at 4 a.m, just with yourself, and you can't put up a game and you can't put up a front, and you're stuck with your whatever's going through your mind, your heart, your soul, your body. And for some people, they're at peace. And for most people, they're in turmoil and fear. And did I do the right thing? God, that one time that I fucked everything up. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with myself. And then when it's just you, yourself, and I, then you get to find out. But at the end of the day, that's all we have. That's why you need to forgive yourself. That's why. Because you're stuck with yourself. You think it ends with one lifetime? It doesn't. And we could get esoteric and talk all about that, but I think it'll distract from this because it's important enough right now to say, look, do you want to live in a state of hatred, pain, anger, misery that you will inevitably spread to other people? Or do you want to say it stops right here and now? Do you have the power to fix everything in the world? No. Take it from a wizard. You only got limited juice, right? Can you wave a wand and fix racism? No. Can you wave a wand and fix this country? No. But what you can do is forgive yourself. And I don't like the phrase working on yourself or fixing yourself because it presumes there's something wrong with you, right? What you need to do is come back to your innate love of yourself that you were born with. You don't have to go far. You need to get back to yourself. You need to remember your loving self. Because all the trauma and the pain and the reaction to it and the anger and the back and forth, that comes later, right? That's that's life, right? That's life. Is it fair? Right? Is it fair to have to forgive people who hurt you? Is it fair what happens to you? Is it fair the suffering that you've been through? Look, is it fair what's going on in this country right now? Right? Is it fair for people to have their lives taken from them and their businesses and their livelihoods? No. It's fucked, okay? And I don't have an easy way out of that. Is it fair that when Black people see police sirens, their immediate thought is, I'm going to die? And that goes on their whole life. And when they have kids, they have to have that fear for their children also. No. But that's the thing, right? If you wait for a reason to forgive, you're not going to get it. Because human beings are motherfuckers, right? We really are. We really are. By act of will alone. By act of will alone, you must say, this ends with me. And it begins with forgiving yourself. And then from there, you'll figure out the rest. But I know for sure that you have 100% power to do that, no matter who you are, where you are, what your situation is, how much money you have. You think the way that you talk about spirituality, you want to talk about God, spirituality, the universe. It's like, do you think if God made it, and people try so hard to look for enlightenment and spiritual growth. You think God would have made it hard? Like you had to go do ayahuasca. No. Love, forgiveness are available to everyone in the moment, and often these moments appear to us when we suffer the most. All right. That's what I got for today. Hang in there.